Good morning, ninth standard. Today we are started with the chapter number 4 of chemistry, and that is structure of an atom beta. Okay, so this is a very important chapter, and in this chapter we are going to discuss about that in actual what is the structure of an atom. Okay. Now, if we are talking about the introductory part of this chapter, so bache, initially the atom was discovered by John Dalton, and John Dalton, that in 1807 he proposed a famous theory which was also known as a John Dalton atomic theory, and you also studied about this theory in your last chapter, that is atoms and molecules. According to John Dalton, in this theory, he told us that atom is the fundamental, or we can say the basic unit of matter. And matter is existing in different kinds because of different atoms constitution. या हम कहें कि अलग-अलग एटम्स जो हैं वो क्या होते हैं बेटा, मिलते हैं और आपके different kinds of matters को बनाते हैं. ठीक है. According to the John Dalton, the theory of atomic theory, later on which also known as John Dalton atomic theory, so the postulates of this theory was that all matter is made up of atoms. First point, atoms of same element or atoms of an element means एक ही element के जितने भी atoms थे वो सारे ही क्या होते थे, identical होते थे. Fine. Each element has different atoms. हर element में बहुत सारे अलग-अलग atoms होते थे. But yes, उनकी properties according to John Dalton, उनकी सबकी properties क्या होती थी, same होती थी. Atoms जो होते थे, it is the smallest particle of an element which can participate in a chemical reaction. Atoms that can neither be created or nor be destroyed. बिल्कुल ठीक वैसे ही जैसे law of conservation of mass होता है. Atoms as well as उन्होंने कहा because it is neither created nor destroyed, so obviously he tell us that atoms are indivisible. Okay beta, but that after 19th century, या हम ये कह लें कि 19th century के end तक जो आपके scientists थे, they start explaining the structure of atom, because Dalton atomic theory was not explaining the structure of atom, and Dalton ने हमें atom की properties के बारे में भी कुछ discuss नहीं किया था, and that's why because of which many scientists start working on different models of atoms, which we are going to discuss in detail in this chapter. Okay, beta. So the major after the discovery of two subatomic particles of atom, that was electron and protons. Inside the atoms जब ये मिल गए, so it gives completely the failure of Dalton atomic theory, because according to Dalton it was conceptually given that atom is indivisible and it is not having subatomic particles. But later on, when electrons and protons were discovered, then at this point or this postulate was later on proved wrong. So for explaining the arrangement of electrons and protons, means where in actual electrons and protons in an atom is situated or positioned. So many scientists proposed various atomic models. So at that time, beta, the first one model which was given by that for explaining the structure of atom, that was Thomson Plum pudding model. Yep, J.J. Thomson, that gives the first hint. We can say that an atom is made of even smaller particles. और J.J. Thomson की ही वजह से हम जो है in 1897, कब किया था बेटा? 1897 में he just compare his atomic model with a plum pudding. ठीक है? How's that? Look, this is a plum pudding. ये वाला आपका plum pudding है, in which he just say that the pudding, ये पूरी pudding क्या है? It is a positively charged, whereas the plums which are spread or distributed spread on the pudding, that was act as a negatively charged. Similarly, in the same manner, Thomson compared his atomic model with this model, that he explained that an atom is basically, this complete atom is basically a spherical cloud of positive charge. बेटा ये पूरा क्या है? एक पूरे एटम के अंदर आपका क्या भरा हुआ है? पॉजिटिव चार्ज है, इन विच एग्जैक्टली लाइक plums, negative charge is also uniformly distributed, and these negatively charged particles were known as electrons. इन्हें उन्होंने क्या नाम दिया? Electrons का नेम दिया. So Thomson basically proposed a model of the atom which is also known as plum pudding model. इनके according या according to Thomson, the atoms were made from a positively charged sphere. ठीक है? With negative charged electrons that are distributed in this positively charged sphere, exactly like how raisins present in a unevenly distributed in a pudding. So the negative and positive charges, according to Thomson, are equal in magnitude. This is a very important point कि Thomson ने ये भी कहा था कि जो positive और negative charges हैं, which is present in a atom, that should be equal in magnitude wise. माने बेटा value wise. अगर +3 पॉजिटिव चार्ज है तो -3 क्या होगा? नेगेटिव चार्ज प्रेजेंट होगा, and because of which atom as a whole is electrically stable, or we can say is neutral in charge. Means atom as a whole do not carry any charge, or it is neutral in charge. Next बच्चे, Thomson also explained, या Thomson just discovered the electrons with the help of a cathode ray experiment. This was a cathode ray experiment. इसको हम cathode क्या कहते हैं? Cathode ये बेटा ये एक्सपेरिमेंट ये था that in this one, this is a cathode ray. He has taken a one glass tube जिसके अंदर vacuum present था, and he just connected this tube with a high voltage source of electricity. यहाँ पर कि 10,000 near about voltage उन्होंने क्या किया था? Attach किया था, and he connected this inside this glass to test tubes. There are the electrodes, metal electrodes, or we can say metal plates he kept inside this. ये these were the metal plates या हम metal electrodes कह दें, ये उन्होंने साथ में attach की थी. And then after that what he has done कि उन्होंने क्या किया, that he just induce a gas with it. यहाँ पर उन्होंने different gases क्या ली थी, gases इन्होंने आपकी induce की. And after that when he connected it with the high voltage of source, तो इसके अंदर क्या हुआ कि gases जो थी that starts glowing, वो glow करने लगी. And the particles are also, they start attracting toward from negative to the positive, because of which he comes to the conclusion कि ये अगर पॉजिटिव साइड की तरफ अट्रैक्ट हो रहा है, so it means कि these particles must carry a opposite charges. तो उनका जो चार्ज होगा वो क्या होगा, कुछ अपोजिट होगा. And because of which he come up to the conclusion that there must be certain charged particle, negative charged particles are moving. ठीक है, and their negatively charged particles later on known as electrons. इनको हमने बाद में क्या कहा, electrons का. ठीक है बेटा. नेक्स्ट इन्हीं में मैंने जैसे आपको बताया that when he found an electric current passed through this, जब इलेक्ट्रिक करंट पास थ्रू किया गया, so in this one case that these electric field इसमें पास किया गया, मीन्स एक सिंपली बेटा उन्होंने अपोजिट साइड्स में गैस ट्यूब के या कैथोड ट्यूब के इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड अप्लाई किया. तो देयर ही हैज सीन दैट द रेज आर पर्टिकुलरली दे अट्रैक्टेड टुवर्ड the particular pieces, and that is known as a later on electromagnetic waves. तो ये जो था ये एक पर्टिकुलर डायरेक्शन में क्या कर रही थी, मूव कर रही थी. और इससे हमें ये पता चला कि ये जो है ये क्या है, सारी की सारी these are the electromagnetic waves. Why? Because they are influenced with the what with that these are influenced with the electric field, as well as these are influenced with the magnetic field. वो magnetic field की तरफ भी क्या हो रही थी, influenced हो रही थी. And that's why such a waves या such a particles are showing a electromagnetic wave character. This later on the electron which were attracted toward the positive charged particles, so these were discovered by Thomson in 1897, and he at that time imagined that atom is like a raisin pudding. ठीक है, or we can say just like the electrons which stuck in a cake of positive charge. तो बिल्कुल ठीक वैसे ही जैसे यहाँ पे आप देखेंगे कि आपका नेगेटिवली चार्ज पार्टिकल्स ये क्या दिखा रहा है बेटा, ये वाटरमेलन के अंदर आपका नेगेटिवली चार्ज पार्टिकल सीड्स है, और जो रेड कलर का पूरा बाकी का पोर्शन है दैट इज अ पॉजिटिवली चार्ज्ड पार्टिकल्स. ये वाला जो है ये आपका क्या है सारा, ये positively charged particles है, whereas these seeds are to be considered as what, these are considered as the negatively charged particles. All right, so this one this model was given by the Thomson. ठीक वैसे ही जैसे हमने यहाँ पे कहा that the whole sphere is a positively charged, whereas electrons or negatively charged particles that are embedded or are distributed in this model. All right, bache. So these, but later on there were few drawbacks of Thomson atomic model, and that was the first one that this model was failed to explain that how positive charge holds electrons inside the atom. मतलब कैसे उन्होंने उसको पकड़ा हुआ है, क्या है कि वो दोनों आपस में जुड़े हुए हैं. So how positive charge that holds the electrons inside the atom, and which was not explained in Thomson atomic model, and that's why Thomson was unable to explain atoms stability. एटम की स्टेबिलिटी को थॉमसन एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर पाए. नेक्स्ट, उनकी थ्योरी में न्यूक्लियस ऑफ एन एटम का कहीं नाम नहीं दिया गया था, कहीं डिस्क्रिप्शन नहीं था, जबकि न्यूक्लियस एटम के दो पार्ट होते हैं, वन इज न्यूक्लियस and another one are shells in which electrons are revolving. So that was also not explained by Thomson model, and that's why it also becomes the limitation of Thomson atomic model. Apart from that, Thomson was unable to explain the scattering experiment of Rutherford, that um, why the few particles just cross the gold foil, whereas the few particles just revert back or come back in opposite direction, and few particles are deviating their path when moved through a gold foil. So ये भी थॉमसन के मॉडल में एक्सप्लेन नहीं हो पाया था, and because of which it was also a drawback of Thomson atomic model. इसके साथ साथ बेटा Thomson was not able to explain the position of electrons also. थॉमसन ने कि इलेक्ट्रॉन्स एग्जैक्टली कहाँ कहाँ पे स्पेस्ड होने चाहिए, पोजीशनड होने चाहिए एटम के अंदर, that he was not able to explain it. इसके साथ जो सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम थी, that this model was not having any scientific proof behind it. ये थ्योरी तो थी, बट इसके पीछे कोई भी आपका साइंटिफिक प्रूफ प्रेजेंट नहीं था, and because of which that Thomson atomic model later on becomes a failure. But yes, after though, yeah, even though it was a very important atomic model, because Thomson was the scientist who discovered a negatively charged particle, that was electrons. नेक्स्ट बच्चे आ जाते हैं अब डिस्कवरी ऑफ प्रोटॉन्स पे. सो यूगेन गोल्डस्टाइन दैट नोटेड फर्स्ट टाइम कि कैथोड रेज के अंदर आपका किसमें, कैथोड रेज में आपका 1886 में he just says कि वहां पर एक स्ट्रीम ऑफ पॉजिटिवली चार्ज्ड पार्टिकल्स होते हैं, और उन पॉजिटिवली चार्ज्ड पार्टिकल्स को हम किस नाम से जानते हैं, we call them a protons. So particles which move in opposite direction of cathode rays. बेटा पहले मेरी बात ध्यान से सुनिएगा, जो पार्टिकल्स कैथोड रे की डायरेक्शन में मूव करते हैं उन्हें हम इलेक्ट्रॉन कहते हैं, and that is a negatively charged particle. But there are the particles which move in the opposite direction of cathode ray, and those particles were known as protons. ठीक है, इसको हम कैनाल रेज भी कहते हैं या एनोड रेज भी कहते हैं. Why? Because these particles or these rays passed through holes. बिल्कुल जैसे हमारा कैथोड रे एक्सपेरिमेंट था, ऐसे ही एक एक्सपेरिमेंट किया गया, और उसमें जो है एक साइड पे, मेटल की साइड पे क्या किया गया, मेटल प्लेट पे होल्स, उसके आगे होल्स वाली एक परफोरेटेड शीट रखी गई, जिससे कि रेस को क्या करना था, ट्रेवल करना था. एंड बिकॉज इट द रे इज पास्ड थ्रू द परफोरेटेड शीट, और we can say that it passed through the sheet which is having a holes in it, so that is known through the negative electron. Yes, obviously positive to negative. So that's why, because these particles are attracted from positive side to negative side, so mean these particle nature must be a what? It must be positive, and that's why such a rays are also known as canal rays or anode rays. But also canal rays must be positive. ठीक है, ये कैसी थी? Positive थी. And Goldstein first time brings up in the knowledge that there are the few positive particles also present in an atom which is known as a proton, जिन्हें कि हम क्या कहते हैं? Proton. ये देखिए बच्चे, this is the figure of it. These red color particles are known as your electron, and ये हमारे क्या थे? Electrons थे, which are uh, attracted toward the anode. ये किसकी तरफ attract हो रहे थे? Anode की तरफ. ये और anode क्या था? This metal plate is positively charged. ये एक positively charged plate थी, जबकि यहाँ पे जो metal plate लगी थी, that is a negatively charged. ये कैसी थी? Negatively charged थी. And whereas you can see that in another one direction, the other particles are also moving from anode to cathode. And जो particles anode से cathode की तरफ जा रहे थे, और आप देखो बेटा इस cathode पे ये pierced disc है. Pierced disc means which is having a holes. तो इसमें क्या थे? Holes थे ये बने हुए आपके, और because of which these particles pass through these holes and ये पहुंच गए आपके. So that's why this is also known as a what? Canal rays or anode rays, क्योंकि ये anode से होके cathode की तरफ जा रहे थे. So these are known as a anode rays. These particles which are moving or traveling from anode to cathode, these were the positively charged particle which were known as a proton. जबकि opposite direction में आपका जो particles cathode से anode की तरफ जा रहे थे, वो negatively charged particle थे, उन्हें electrons कहते हैं. और ये rays थी हमारी कौन सी? These rays were known as a cathode rays. इसमें बच्चे next is their discovery of neutrons. So 1932 में J. Chadwick also discovered another one type of a subatomic particle. First atomic particle was electron, second subatomic particle was proton, and third was discovered by the J. Chadwick, and which were later on known as a neutron. उनको नाम दिया गया किसका बच्चे? उसको नाम दिया गया था neutrons का. And neutrons is basically having no charge, and their mass is nearly, not exactly equal to, but it is nearly equal to protons. Neutrons beta except hydrogen present in the nucleus of all atoms. ठीक है, न्यूट्रॉन्स जो हैं वो कहाँ प्रेजेंट होता है? न्यूक्लियस में प्रोटॉन्स के साथ, बट इन हाइड्रोजन देयर इज ओनली प्रोटॉन, नॉट न्यूट्रॉन. न्यूट्रॉन को डिनोटेड किया जाता है बच्चे स्मॉल n से, प्रोटॉन को डिनोटेड किया जाता है स्मॉल p से, and electron is denoted by small e. But electron is negatively charged, proton is positively charged, whereas neutron do not carry any charge on it. All right, बच्चा. So these अगर हम ये कहते हैं कि this is a structure of your structure of an atom. So these are the ये सारे हमारी जो राउंड रिंग्स देख रहे हो, these are known as the shells. ये क्या है बेटा? These are known as the shells, and the red colored balls, if you can see, so these are the neutrons, whereas this is a positive charge, so it is known as, these are the protons, these are the protons, and in these shells, these particles are known as the, just 1 minute beta, these particles which are revolving in a, what, these which are revolving in these shells, these are known as the electron. Neutron and protons, ये जो portion होता है हमारा, ये सारा portion, that is known as, which carry a mass, heavy mass of an atom, this is known as nucleus. इसको हम क्या कहते हैं? This is known as nucleus. Okay, so for today this much is there. हमने क्या क्या पढ़ा अभी तक? We studied that first different atomic models, जिसमें कि first model was given by Thomson. Thomson ने electrons discover किए, subatomic particles. Apart from that, आपके E. Goldstein और Euclid Goldstein discovered the proton, which is a positively charged subatomic particle, and J. Chadwick, which is discovered neutron, which carry no charge in it, and protons and neutrons are present in the nucleus of an atom. So, thank you. Next, बेटा आप लोग इसकी assignment करेंगे और उसके अंदर whatever the questions I give it to you, that you will do, or just read your NCERT book till this topic, till that time. Thank you.